All right, here we are. We're a little late today. We're sorry about that. Work ran a little late. But here we got our first fight of the night. We got Miranda Maverick at 5 wins in her last 5 fights, and Gillian Robertson in her last 5 fights has 3 wins and 2 losses. Miranda Maverick, undefeated in UFC 1-0. Last fight was against Lima Jugia.
Yeah, she showed up.
She got a doctor's stoppage with the gut to the nose.
It was a little early.
Yeah,
But it
was pretty bad.
Yeah, I agreed with it.
So what do you have here in this fight, Jay?
Well, Julian Robinson is game. There's no doubt about that. She's been extremely active since 2019 in the UFC as well as Submission Underground. She came in off the Ultimate Fighter as a submission specialist, but has kind of changed her game into more of a wrestle-heavy attack as of late. She does great against people that she can outwork and bring to the ground. But as we saw in her loss to Macy Barber, who's also on this card later, she gets very flustered when she can't get the takedown and is kept at range. That's the way to beat Robertson. And I think Miranda Maverick has the skill set to do so. She showed it in her first fight, and she's got some heavy hands. She likes to stick and move. And I think that's the right game plan, the right matchup. I think this is a good stylistic matchup for Maverick.
Yeah, both these women are young, 25 years old, 23 years old, and Maverick has improved drastically every fight. And Gillian Robertson seems to be stuck with the wrestling heavy approach, and she's gotten a little bit better with her hands. But
yeah, it's just that I feel like her best assets are one that she hasn't been able to use much.
Yeah. And her last fight in the UFC was to Tyler Santos, where she lost unanimous decision.
Tyler Santos, no joke.
Yeah, and Santos did what she does by out-grappling her.
Right. That's the thing about Robertson is she uses this wrestling game plan to get to the ground and maybe work in a submission. She herself has been submitted. Yeah. And Maverick's gotten it done on the feet and on the ground. So
Maverick's got the wrestling.
There's more ways to win for Maverick.
So if you're looking at this fight, we're both going with Miranda Maverick, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to throw a little bit of money via Julian Robertson's way, you could go by submission. That's the only way. But
I really don't see it in this one. I think she's going to get the win. It's going to be grinding out the wrestling and just making it ugly.
Yeah, that's the only path to victory, in my opinion. So I'm on Miranda Maverick. You're on Miranda Maverick. And we're going to move on here to our next fight with Gabe Green and Philip Rowe. Both these guys have knockouts in all their fights. Either win by knockout, lose by knockout. Gabe Green fought Rodriguez, lost to him in his last fight.
Tough dude to debut against. That was a great fight. It was fun to watch. I liked how active Gabe Green is.
Yeah, in his last 5, he's 4-1, and Philip Rowe in his last 5, 5-0. He's coming off the Contender Series.
Yeah, a lot of hype behind him. He's a long, rangy guy, sticks and moves, and he can hold you up against the fence too.
Salty record. He's got a salty record.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, he's fought some cans. He's lined them up.
Yeah. So what do you think you got going on here?
It's gonna take place on the feet, I think. I think both guys want it there. Both guys think they have an advantage there. I'm gonna go with Gabe Green on this one. In that fight against Rodriguez, his head movement, his dipping and ducking, his slips, he stayed right in Rodriguez's face. It wasn't a loss to inactivity or anything like that. It was just he just didn't get it done. It was about the slightest of margins. But I think that was a good debut, even though he lost. And I think he's gonna come out here and start this hype train.
Yeah, he really showed up later on in the fight. It looked like. Rowe here, he hasn't fought in the UFC yet. I think I'm gonna go with Rowe. Just
it's a tough pick. Yeah. It really is. I just don't. With these rangy guys, what they like to do is keep you at range.
Yeah, he has that huge reach advantage on Gabe Green.
Keep you at range, but I don't think he's gonna be able to keep Gabe Green. Just the activity and the head movement, I think those are good tools to use against a lanky fighter like this.
I want to see the fighters in the face-off and the weigh-ins on Friday.
This will be an interesting one. This is definitely just sit back, watch this one.
But 80.5 reach compared to 73, that's 7 inches.
Yeah, and he uses it too. He does use his reach nicely, and
I think with Gabe Green ducking and weaving, I was watching footage of Rowe. He has some good kicks, and that could also cause a problem for Gabe Green. He could run into a kick.
They could help him. The leg kicks could also help him keep the distance. I mean, there's definitely ways to win for both guys here. I liked what I saw out of Gabe Green. I think he just lost that debut, and I think he's going to come in here and win it.
He's going to try to prove something, yeah, but I'm going with Philip Rowe. Just
Gabe Green.
Yeah, just because I think he can utilize that reach, especially if it's going to stay on the feet.
It's a great fight, though. You can make a case for either guy.
Yeah. All right, we'll go here to Ricky Simone and Brian Kelleher.
What a fight.
Brian Kelleher is probably one of the most game guys right now in the UFC, and Ricky Simone just going to try to wrestle his way to victory every time. In the last 5, Kelleher's 3 wins, 2 losses, and Ricky Simone also 3 wins and 2 losses. Brian Kelleher, the plus 200 underdog, and I'm pretty high on Brian Kelleher in this fight. Just because I could see him pulling off that guillotine that he likes to use with Ricky Simone using that wrestling all the time. He keeps his head to the side. What do you see going on in this fight?
I'm going to disagree with you there. I've heard a couple of people now talk about that guillotine being a problem. Not for Ricky Simone. This dude's never been submitted. Ricky Simone, he's come in off LFA. We've talked about this guy before on the show. And in that last fight we talked about, he came out and dominated Gaetano Perella.
But
let it be known, it's a striker.
How good is that guy, though?
Yeah. He did land a couple of good shots in there. There was a couple openings. But that was the best version we have seen of Ricky Simone at this point. Suffocating wrestling. And if you look back on Kelleher's last loss, that was being out wrestled. That was Cody Stamann. I know there was some personal stuff going on that motivated him in that fight, but that's how he got it done.
If you look at the Ricky Simone fight against Uriah, he lost to Uriah Faber. Fast.
It's a tough one.
Fast. He got caught.
Yeah.
But also, Rob Font, he had 6 of 16 takedowns landed against Rob Font. And Rob Font got taken down by Marlon Moraes, who has good wrestling. But Marlon Moraes is not the same fighter he was, and he got taken down.
Off
Yeah.
a cliff.
I just don't think that Ricky Simone is as good as people are thinking he is, and I think that Brian Kelleher is that guy, kind of like the guy fighting later in the main event, Gilbert Burns. He's really game.
Yeah.
And I like putting money on an underdog who's really game.
Yeah, I think the odds are a little skewed in this one for sure.
Yeah.
I do think Ricky Simone is going to get it done. I just think the consistency of the game. I know what you say about game guys like that go in there and fight, but it's a positive and a negative.
Yeah,
If you're a very put together fighter and you know what you're doing, you can use that to your advantage that the guy just wants to brawl. So it's going to be a close one. I don't see Brian Kelleher goes out there to kill or be killed.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one to choose, but I think I'm going to take Ricky Simone here by decision. I think he's just going to outwork him. Keep from getting caught by anything huge, but I think it's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree, and I'm gonna go with Kelleher on this one. I like Kelleher.
Again, no reason to.
Yeah.
Both guys got a chance.
So we'll see what happens. We'll move on here to Polyana Vienna versus Mallory Martin. Mallory Martin, she's up and coming here. She's a talented prospect. Vienna, she's kind of considered a talented prospect, but I feel like her record also, just like I said about Rowe,
A little salty.
pretty salty record. So Vienna, she can get it done on the ground, but in her last 5, 2 wins and 3 losses. She's coming off a win. Martin, 4 wins and a loss, and Martin's the slight favorite in this fight. Both of them fairly young, 27 and 28 years old. Reach advantage is actually for Vienna by 3 inches. What do you think? What do you got here?
Both these girls have fought high-level competition early on in their career. Mallory Martin actually fighting Macy Barber, which I went back and watched this one, and it was an ass-kicking. It was back in LFA with main event Heinisch. He's on this card too.
Yeah.
But Macy Barber was able to, a very green version of Macy Barber, was able to strike, keep it on the feet, and just pepper Mallory Martin up. I believe Mallory Martin has gotten much better since then, and she showed great toughness and just game and overall fight IQ to stay in that fight. Honestly, it was a tough one to watch. She's a good boxer wrestler type style, can really grind on an opponent. Since that loss, she's gone on a streak before being stopped by Yanni Droba on the ground, which is nothing to joke about. Yanni Droba is one of the best on the ground. On the other side of that, Polyana has good. She's shown good striking and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I just don't know if she adds it all together properly. You see a lot of these guys with good aspects of their game that it's just hard to tie it all together. If you look at her record, she is coming off a win, and it was a pretty good armbar. It was slick. She capitalized on Emily Whitmer's mistake, but her last 3 losses before that, J.J. Aldrich, Hannah Cyphers, Brana Macedo, all have went on to lose their next fights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do MMA math like that, but it's not a promising look in my book.
Yeah, so far in the UFC, she's 2-3, and I don't think Mallory Martin's losing this fight at all. I think Mallory Martin, she can, because when you're supposed to be good on the ground and you're getting submitted, that's not a good look. You're getting armbarred.
Yeah.
But she did come back and armbar Emily Whitmore, but Emily Whitmore isn't really out here killing people, you know.
And Mallory Martin was subbed by Yana Drova, so I mean, I'm sure that's Vienna's game plan.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's what she's going for here, but
it's going to be a matter of getting it there and then getting it done, and Mallory Martin's going to piece her up on the feet.
I think we're going to see a lot of output from Mallory Martin. If she wants to take it down, she probably will and control it on the ground. That's probably a little bit more dangerous for her, but I'm definitely going Mallory Martin by decision in this one.
Yeah, I'm on Mallory Martin as well. We got Diego Lima versus Belal Muhammad, and this is probably, well, we don't want to use the lock of the night term.
We ain't doing that anymore.
But this is probably one of the safest fights that you can bet on the card in the parlay.
Not that there's much money to earn on it. I think Muhammad's at a
plus 300.
300?
But it's more of a parlay piece, in my opinion, if you're going to do something.
It's a solid one, yeah. It's definitely, yeah.
Yeah, Belal Muhammad in his last 5 fights is 4-1. He's coming off of a 3-fight winning streak here. And his opponent, Diego Lima, is 3-2 on a 3-fight winning streak. Fighting out of Rufus MMA and American Top teams. There's 2 good teams. Belal Muhammad, he's coming off against Lyman Good, and he won unanimous decision. It's not bad.
That's how he does things.
Yeah, so what do you think you got here in this fight?
I think we have a terrible stylistic matchup for Diego Lima in this fight. What Belal Muhammad is very good at is he's experienced, he's well-rounded, he uses ranged attacks, he takes you down when he wants to, but he's just out of the pocket. He's in there, out, he stays in, he moves, he's out. He has a very complete game. He's not the most exciting guy on the roster, but he definitely comes out to fight every time, and he gets it done. He gets it done by decision most times. On the other side, we got Diego Lima, and you hate to compare guys to their siblings, but Lima is not the same as his brother over there at Bellator. He's just kind of with Biggie and his brother. It's just they have similar skill sets.
Just not the same.
The intangibles, they're just not there. He's shown weakness by being taken down and ground and pounded, which plays exactly into Belal Muhammad's game.
And if your most impressive win is against Court McGee, that's not
by split decision,
yeah,
right? Yeah,
that's not gonna get me to.
Judges love this dude, though, right? You see guys coming off 2 split decisions back to back. That's a stressful thing. You'd have to think he's gonna come out here and try and finish it, because you don't want to go to decision again against the guy that only wins decisions.
He can try what he wants to try, but it ain't gonna matter.
It's gonna be a tough one for him, but that takedown's gonna be there, and he's gonna get control.
Short and sweet, Belal Muhammad win this fight. Okay, moving on. We got Rodolfo Vera, if that's how you say his name, and Fluffy Anthony Hernandez. And I think, like I said last fight, another good parlay piece. Vieira, not the greatest striker in the world, but he can take you down, wrestle you, and he can submit you. He's one of those guys that has really good submissions and takedowns.
Which we've been seeing a lot more of lately, and it's always been something he talked about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. What good is your ground game if you can't get them there?
And he has that undefeated record,
yeah.
7-0. And Anthony Hernandez coming off of the Contender Series, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming off the Contender Series. He has a loss to Kevin Holland. I did not know that.
Yeah, the last fight, it was a quick one. It was a quick night at the office. Kevin Holland lays out the perfect game plan to beat this guy in that fight.
Oh, this is Izzy's boy. Okay.
And the way he did it, so you got Anthony Hernandez here. He's a good boxer. He's got great power straight down the middle. He was exposed in that fight because Kevin Holland got in his face, used feints, and moved around and never let Anthony Hernandez set up a shot.
Well, let's put it this way. Now that I know who this, I didn't really exactly know who this, but now that I know who this, Kevin Holland picked this dude up and slammed him. So what do you think that Vieira is going to do to this guy?
Yeah, it's good, but the thing he's got good boxing at the middle. I don't think that Rodolfo Vieira is gonna play into this striking match with this guy, because I've watched Vieira's footage, and even though he's 2-0 in the UFC, this dude likes to move his head without kind of moving his hands. He moves and he's open. The only way I see Hernandez win is to catch him with a clean 1-2 up the middle. And even if he does that, don't follow him to the ground.
He does have a win over Brendan Allen, though.
Yes, and also a no contest in their knockout win over Jordan Wright, who a lot of people are high on, me not being one of them.
Yeah, this guy's all over the place.
Yeah, it's hard to get a read on this guy, but I do think Vieira's submission game is going to come and play here. He's 2-0 in the UFC. He hasn't stopped competing in in grappling tournaments since, too. So, very active guy. Hopefully his striking's gotten a little better. We're going to see a submission.
Yeah, I think Vieira is going to get this one by submission as well. So now we got two veterans in the game here. Bobby Green and Jim Miller. Jim Miller, the guy that shocked, what's his name?
That was...
He slipped and fell. I don't remember his name, but he was a prospect coming up. And he was kind of taunting and talking crap before the fight. And Jim Miller went out and armbarred him. And then Bobby Green, pretty much, I think his path to victory in this fight is to keep the fight on the feet if he's winning the exchanges and use his wrestling as defense. Because Jim Miller is way better on the ground, submission-wise. But I just can't see Jim Miller. Jim Miller has some crazy kicks, though.
Yeah, he does.
He'll throw that kick. That might bother Bobby Green. But I just see Bobby Green outpointing him and being able to control the positions without getting himself in too much danger.
See, this one is much closer than the odds suggest, I would say. Both guys are veterans of the game. Jim Miller is a guy that Khabib even gives respect. He gives him high props here. When I think of Jim Miller, I think of crafty veteran. I think of a guy that may not be better than most guys he's fought, but he's going to figure out, if you make a mistake, he's going to capitalize on it. There's no doubt about that. His ground game's great. And on the feet, I just think he's one step behind Bobby Green. Bobby Green's also a veteran in his own right, and is a very crisp boxer. He keeps his opponents on the outside, eating volume, but not much of a finisher. But he's got great defensive wrestling. He's the ability to scramble and keep Jim Miller on the edge of his punches I think it's gonna add up to a unanimous decision victory. I think he's gonna keep him on the end of the jab, pop out a couple punches and kicks, defend all the submissions. It's a tough pick here, but I am going with Bobby Green.
Yeah, Roosevelt Roberts is the guy that Jim Miller subbed I just seen.
Yeah.
That's who I was talking about. And I also agree that Bobby Green's probably going to come out here and win a decision unanimously. Just doing more than Jim Miller and getting the win. All right, we got Julian Marquez versus Mackie Pitolo. This fight could get kind of crazy. Mackie Pitolo, I think his key to victory is going to be knocking him out. That's the only way I can see it. I don't think he's going to outpoint Marquez. And Marquez, he's coming off of a injury layoff, right? Yeah, he's coming off an injury layoff. His last 5 fights, he's 4-1. He's the favorite in this fight. Mackie Pitolo coming off of 2 losses. And in his last 5, 3 losses and 2 wins. Odds are pretty close. Minus 185 and plus 145 underdog. What do you got here?
Mackie Pitolo is a fun guy to watch. Coconut Bombs is his nickname. He comes out and throws with bad intentions. He does well at commanding center of the octagon. I've noticed in a lot of his fights. He's going to come out very aggressive in this one. He needs this fight. There's no doubt about that one. But that's where I see Mackie Pitolo come up short. In those instances, when you're watching and he's fighting a good fight, it's just too often you see him landing bombs and making bad decision on the feet to get caught. I do think Julian Marquez is a question mark coming in off a 2-year layoff. But this guy's got a good win under his belt. He got a submission of Darren Stewart, and he came out and lost a split decision after that to
Who are we looking for?
Impicus, other guy.
I'm looking at Pitolo here. Let's see.
Okay.
You were talking about Marquez?
Yeah, just give me that one.
He lost to Jericho.
Alessio Di Carico. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, who just had that big win over Buckley. Only makes him look a little bit better.
Yeah.
I like what I've seen out of Julian Marquez. The dude, he's willing to scrap. He's in there. He's got a good ground game to come up with it. He's strong. He can definitely take a hit. and definitely return one. He's willing to take a shot to return one. Got a good submission game. He had good enough cardio in wrestling to outlast Phil Hawes and beat him on the Contender Series back a while.
My thing is, I don't know if Patello is UFC ready. He has his win in the UFC is over Charles Bird. Lost to Darren Stewart. Both those guys, Impa Kasagway and Darren Stewart, are good. Callum Potter,
Look at that, though. We got Julian Marquez, who subbed Darren Stewart.
yeah, and the
Darren Stewart subbed Patello.
Yeah.
Not a good look.
That's not a good look coming
I
out.
don't know if that's going to be Marquez's game plan in this one, though.
But
It might be, but I think they're definitely going to start off. Every fight starts on the feet. They're going to start off throwing hands. I have seen Julian Marquez play into these kind of epic brawls. Not what you want to do in this fight. That's your only way of losing this one, dude.
Yeah.
Just stay out of the pocket. Don't get cracked by Maki Pitolo. Land your own shots. Bring him down. Submit him. Not saying that's how it's going to go, but I see Marquez coming out on top of this one.
Yeah, I got Marquez as well. As long as he can stay, as long as his conditioning is good and he stays out of the war, no way he loses this fight.
Maki Pitolo's chin holds up. This could very well be a fight of the night.
Yeah, this could be an interesting fight. Could have you worried a little bit, but Marquez is the way. All right. Andre Ewell and Chris Gutierrez. Talk about a weird fight here. And in the last 5, you got Gutierrez, who fought to a draw against let me see his name. I remember. I can't. Clicked on the wrong one. Here we go. Cody Durden is his name. I think his name is. Yep, Cody Durden.
Who we just saw lose emphatically to
a sub, but he looked good.
Yeah, that guy looked good.
He looked good. I forget his name.
Before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gutierrez is a tough one. That last loss coming from
Ronnie
Barstolos.
He's a good fighter, so.
One of my favorites to watch right now. Really naked choke in the
He beat Jimmy Flick. That's the guy that beat Cody Durden.
That is him, yeah.
So he has a win over the guy that hit him.
Okay.
But in that Cody Durden fight where he had a draw, he came out in the first round and lost 10-8 and then won the next 2 rounds. So maybe he just got a little caught off guard. I don't know.
I haven't seen much of this guy, even though looking through this, he's fought some great competition.
Yeah.
Mixed results there, but he's a very active guy, Chris Gutierrez. He's got a wide stance and his very fast hands. He's fought a good level competition, like I said. He hasn't always come out on top. But, man, they threw this fight together real quick. Andre Ewell, on the other hand, what's his reach? You got that?
Andre Ewell? I can tell you right now. His reach.
Dude's got a massive reach.
75 inches.
75 inches to 67 on the other side. What I will tell you about Ewell is he uses his reach very well. As of late, we've seen a lot of guys with reach advantage, and it's something that a lot of people like to look at before a fight starts that just don't use it. It's kind of like Stefan Struve comes to mind, old school Stefan Struve, who just like the skyscraper. He's got these long ass arms, but
gets knocked out every time.
yeah. But no, Andre Ewell on the other hand, he uses his reach very well. He hits you on the end of those punches like a snapping motion, and he's.
What gives me hope here? What I think
he's coming off back wins off the decisions too.
Yeah, Andre Ewell against Jonathan Martinez, and Jonathan Martinez can throw hands. And Erwin Rivera, the guy that just tried to kill his sister. But
wow. Yeah. That was the last fight.
So I think Chris Gutierrez, more of a submission wrestler guy. And with that reach disadvantage, I gotta go with Ewell in this fight. There's no way I can go with Gutierrez.
I think I'm gonna take Gutierrez. I like the level of competition. I like what he's done against him. I mean, it's a tough one, don't get me wrong. This one's not one I'll be putting money on. What I will say as a highlight for Andre Ewell is that this is a much better matchup than his matchup against Cody Stamen.
Yeah.
That was an unfair throwing Ewell to the wolves. This one, neither of these guys want to hit the ground. It's going to be an entertaining scrap. They threw this one together last minute, but I think it's going to be a good fight. Catch weight of 140 pounds.
So you're on Gutierrez. I'm
going to take Gutierrez.
All right, here we go. We got Kelvin Gastelum versus Ian Heinisch. And this is a fight that I've been back and forth on. I'm just scratching my head trying to figure it out.
It feels like one that's going to whatever you don't think's gonna happen is probably gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
It just seems like one of those ones that whatever you land on, it's. Gastelum is a guy that he showed so much brilliance. The dude's got some quick hands, like absurdly fast hands.
Yeah.
And you've seen that. It's just sometimes he's just an unlucky dude. You hate to call it luck or not luck, but man, it's just a wide array on his record going back and down it since the highs of that Adesanya fight and the lows of his last fight against.
Who are we talking about? Heinisch?
No, I'm talking about Gastelum.
Gastelum, he lost to Hermanson.
Hermanson, yeah, that. So which one are you gonna get?
Look at who he fought though. Hermanson, Till, Adesanya.
The top of the top.
All top guys.
The knockout of Michael Bisping was something to behold. That was awesome.
So this is a fight that it's kind of two guys. One guy's on his way up on the rise. Kelvin Gastelum's fought in all top competition. So he hasn't won, but he's been in there with everybody that's just the top of the line. And you got to wonder what his confidence is at. That could play a huge role in this. But he almost beat the champion right now.
He got closer than anybody else did.
Yeah, the thing is, I still don't know who I want because this is just a crazy fight. Ian Heinisch, if you look at him, he beat Joe Marshall, but he loses to Amari Akhmedov, which it's going to happen kind of.
It is, yeah. I mean, depending on your strengths and weaknesses, that's a tough one.
And Derek Brunson, who are both wrestlers.
Yeah, Derek Brunson he might be on a rise again. We'll see we'll see when he fights Kevin Holland, but it's hard to get a read on either one of these guys, really. They both bring a lot to the table. I've seen more out of Gastelum, obviously. I'm not crazy about the odds. I might not touch this one, but I think I'm going to pick Kelvin Gastelum to get it done.
Yeah, I think for a pick perspective for the show, as in, don't put no money on the fight, is what my opinion is. Don't do anything, but I have to say Gastelum gets this fight because he's lost 3 in a row and he needs a win. And Ian Heinisch, I don't know if he's got good enough wrestling to take it to the ground because Kevin Gastelum can wrestle.
Yeah. Oh, he's a very well-rounded guy.
I think he's just good enough on the feet, and I just can't see Heinisch beating Kevin Gastelum here. I don't see a better way for him to win this fight. Kevin Gastelum just seems to be better everywhere. So we're both on Gastelum?
Yep.
All right, we got Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso. You're pretty hype on Macy Barber, right?
I am. I like watching Macy Barber fight. I think she's one of the most exciting prospects in the women's MMA. She throws hard hands. The one thing that I have seen in a lot of her fights is coming in with her hands down. And then, of course, there's that last loss to Roxanne Modafferi where she was dismantled. Me and David tend to disagree on this topic here, but I like seeing the top of the top lose. I like seeing them come back from a loss. I don't think being undefeated really has as much credibility behind it as, look at Amanda Nunes. She's not undefeated, but there's nobody out there arguing that she's one of the best of the best. You learn from your mistakes. Hopefully, we're going to find out this weekend if Macy Barber can learn from her mistakes.
Yeah, and the one thing that she does do when she does win is she finishes. I was just looking, she has finished in her last 4 fights there.
Which who else, other than a champion, can you say about in women's MMA? Is known for finishing fights.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one, right?
I'm sure there's somebody out there.
That's why the UFC is so high on this girl, because she does finish fights.
The thing here with Grasso is she's so back and forth. She has a win, a loss. Now, the loss is to Carlos Pereira.
By a majority decision. I think one judge actually had it for her. And, if you're as high on Carlos Esparza as Dana White is, then that's almost like a even there to lose that.
Yeah.
She also has a loss to Tatiana Suarez, a win over Carolina Kovalkiewicz. But, she's on the decline now. She's lost her last 3 or 4, so that's a tough one. But the level of competition has definitely been there for Alexa Grasso.
And the thing that you want to say here is Macy Barber is actually the underdog.
Yeah, it's surprising to me.
What you want to do is bet this fight and bet it now. Do not wait because this is going to even up and maybe even Macy Barber will be the favorite. I think Macy Barber also is going to win this fight. And the only thing you have to worry about is if she's gonna come back the same. Yeah,
Mhm.
you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
When a fighter loses, you don't know how they're gonna react. That would be the only worry. So I'm not saying throw a boatload of money on this fight, but I would say $20 is not a bad bet on Macy Barber.
Oh, I have a couple bets on this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go out and tell you that I'm gonna look back on Glasgow's record here. She's got a loss by decision to Felice Herrig,
yeah.
who I think fights semi-similar to Macy Barber, as much as she's more kick heavy, and Macy Barber's more punch heavy. But the wrestling defense of Macy Barber is also really good, and I liken that fight to that fight, and I think Macy Barber gets it done.
She's just thicker looking too. She doesn't look like I was seeing Grasso in the embedded, and she doesn't look like she can. She just looks like a twig compared to Macy Barber.
Yeah, Macy Barber is kind of like she looks like a fighter. She's got like stubby. I don't know how to say it. She's built more like a fighter. This fight's gonna take place on the feet for sure. It's gonna come down to it. I think Macy Barber gets it done. I don't know if I'd say inside the distance. One thing I will tell you guys though is I put my money down when this was at a plus 200. We are looking here on Tapology and it's looking like they're at plus 120 right now. So if you're looking to get in on Macy Barber as an underdog,
you gotta hurry. Yeah, you gotta hurry or you're not gonna get it. So we're both on Macy Barber.
Absolutely.
All right. Now the main event of the evening: Kamaru Usman, Marty Snoozman, and Gilbert Burns.
We've been waiting on this one for a while.
I don't know why. I just don't like this guy. I don't like Kamaru Usman. I don't know why. You think I would? I'm a wrestler. You're a wrestler.
Yeah, I like him as a fighter.
He's just boring.
The personality though that shows through on these embedded and stuff. It's just I understand why he's that way, but
these guys are former. I mean, these guys are teammates.
Former teammates, former friends, depending on which one you ask.
I think they're still teammates. It's just
yeah, they're just training. Yeah. Where the champion left the gym.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
And this is a fight where I'm actually going to be on Gilbert Burns. And I'm not 100% confident in this. I'm on Gilbert Burns, not just because I hate Kamaru Usman, but because he possesses things that Kamaru Usman has to worry about, like the submissions, and he's good in the grappling exchanges. And I think a big factor in this fight that nobody's thinking about is the elbow off the cage. Burns has a crazy elbow off the cage, and I think
I haven't thought of that.
You see that bald face right there. He's gonna hit him in the phone. He's gonna hit him in the face, maybe cut him open a little bit, get some blood in the eyes. I don't know.
I think, dude, I want to pick Burns. So I want to. I really do. But I think Kamaru Usman's gonna win this fight. I don't have to tell you how Kamaru Usman's gonna win this fight. You know how he's gonna win this fight. So I'm gonna talk about Burns. Burns has great intangible skills. He's a world-class jiu-jitsu master. He gets it done. Nobody wants to go down to the ground with him. The dude's got 50% takedown defense. That's on purpose. He doesn't care. The other thing is that he's got a bunch of different wrinkles in his game that could give Usman trouble. The only thing is that he has an intense knowledge of Usman's game. I think that's the biggest thing you could say about him. Is that this guy not only matches well against him, but knows his game. And can he stop it though?
And we were just watching people who watch these dudes spar. Now Gilbert Burns is the guy that goes hard to practice.
We knew he was a crazy man in the gym. Yeah.
They were saying that Burns was winning the exchanges in sparring. So take that how you want to take it. Doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in the fight. But Kamaru Usman could just come out here and straight dry hump him against the cage for 5 minutes every round.
Which is his game plan.
Yeah.
But much like the Damian Maia fight, we're probably going to see a fight where he doesn't try and take him down right away. Because when they get in there all dry, you don't want to be on the ground dry with Gilbert Burns. I think this fight is gonna play out over many rounds, and we're gonna see if Gilbert Burns can really make it a fight against Usman. He said it. Usman has said it that to beat him, you gotta bring something out of him. You gotta make him want to fight you. The best thing I can say about Usman is everybody knows about his physical traits, his wrestling pedigree, his ability to keep a fight boring in his favor. But the one thing that might go underchecked about Usman is his confidence in his mental game.
Yeah.
The confidence of this guy is off the charts. I mean, Why shouldn't it be? Everybody saw that Colby Covington fight. He's reigning over the division right now. People can call him boring, but I mean, I'm sure he doesn't give a fuck.
He's beating everybody, like Dos Anjos, Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal.
It's almost to the point when you're seeing Usman fight, you kind of think he's gonna win. All you're hoping is that it's not as one-sided as Masvidal versus Usman was.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say. I really don't want to see another Masvidal versus Usman, and I think Gilbert Burns does have the pedigree on the ground. At least keep it interesting.
And I think this is going to be a battle of attrition, honestly. And if you're asking
mentally, physically, emotionally, I think across the board,
leg kicks could play a huge role in here too, because Kamaru Usman's got some skinny legs, and Gilbert Burns could mix those in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm on Gilbert Burns. You're gonna go with Kamaru Usman?
I want to pick Burns so bad, but I gotta get this pick right. I'm going to Usman.
Now, just so you know, everybody obviously should know this by now who follows us. Friday night, James will be posting the picks up, the official picks. These are our videos we like to watch after the weigh-ins and the face-offs to see if there's anything different to add into that. But Friday night
we'll have those up. Yeah, comment down and say what you think are some good bets. Let's get a conversation going.
All right, hope you enjoy the fights and win some money.
All right, peace out, guys.